But I do want to get to something. No one likes being right more than me. You guys know this. I am very much a fan of being correct. And it happens often, guys, and you know this about me. Some of you are throwing up while I say that, but I want to highlight this. So I'm going to get into the Rob Klingman, but I'm pulling up the Wrestling Observer, and I'm going to highlight this part because I've been saying this shit for months, guys. Against All Odds took place on June 14th, Dave says, at Cicero Stadium in Chicago before a sellout of 1,200 fans. Now, that would be the most fans that they have ever put in that building, TNA. Because they're typically like selling out at like 750, 800, but they sold out, and then they just kept opening up seats, and they end up overselling the building to where they had to give refunds to people because they put on too many general admission seats for sale. I guess maybe they just didn't count. they just kept selling them. And then like they got in trouble by the fire marshal. I guess the fire marshal showed up and started yelling at people, and there are some people that were turned away at the door even though they had purchased tickets. And so I mean, that's like people are like, oh, TNA. No, that's actually a good sign for TNA if you think about it. But according to a Chicago-based promotion which has run the building, said 1,200 is the legal fire capacity and disputed the MLW claim of drawing 2,000 last time they ran the building. Well, gee, Dave, where did you hear that first? I've been telling you that for weeks, for months. MLW has never sold 2,000 tickets to anything, especially not 2,000 tickets in Cicero Stadium. Yet people continue to print it because Court Bauer was telling them, it was like, guys, that's not possible. It is just not possible. Yet you guys keep printing it because Court keeps telling you. That is disgusting. The fact that people kept printing that is embarrassing. And now finally Dave prints like a little bit of a retraction. I'm like, Dave, you got to know better than that. Court is a carny and he's a liar. I've been calling it out for months, especially since I started, covering the MLW stuff, which might not happen anymore. Swig of coffee for Carney Court Bauer. And when no way in hell, anybody that's been in that building, that's been to the events, and I got a lot of friends that have been there, like a lot of friends that are in this chat, like, well, not in this chat, but that are Patreon subscribers have been telling me, it's like, Mike, there's just no way. There's no way there's over 2,000 people in that building. You just not, like, legally, you can't do it. Court Bauer just made up a number and sent it to not only Dave, but sent it everywhere. Like, everybody's printing that stuff. And people were just saying that, yeah, well, finally he talked to like a local Chicago promoter because, TNA, whenever they go to there, they'd probably hire the local Chicago guy to help promote the show. That's how you do it. That's how you do those things. And they're saying, yeah, like there's just no freaking way. So I just want to let everybody know that I've been vindicated. Finally, people are trying to argue against that. The next thing we're gonna talk about is Bound for Glory 2019 did not have 3,000 or 5,000 people, by the way. But I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that mess. Some people believe the Wikipedia number for Bound for Glory 2019. Crazy. TNA fans are the craziest people. I love them dearly. All right, so let's talk about this Rob Klingman guy. He's announced as the chief revenue officer for Anthem Sports and report to Chon Chon, president of Anthem Sports Groups, which oversees TNA and Invicta. His job is to drive revenue with an emphasis on sales, advertising, and sponsorships. Klingman spent 8 years at WWE, where he was the vice president of global digital and integrated sponsorship sales. He was a part of securing WWE deals with Geico, Coca-Cola, AT&T, Nestle, Papa John's, as well as signing Snickers to sponsor WrestleMania. He was later vice president of marketing, operations, and sales for G Fuel. So there you go. They hired a guy, who does ad sales and all that stuff. And naturally, TNA Twitter was like, "Oh man, that's a great hire." It's like, you guys don't even know this guy. It's like no one's ever heard of this guy. And yeah, he used to work for WWE and he worked for G Fuel. I wonder why he isn't there. Do you guys ever think about that? Now with WWE, it might be because Endeavor had people in the UFC already doing those jobs, but I would pump the brakes about being excited about this guy because it's going to be real difficult to sell sponsorships and ad stuff for TNA with how low their ratings are. So I wouldn't expect like a significant increase. And in fact, they've had people in that position before. I think a couple years ago they had hired an ad sales team like out of Canada or something to take over. And so this is just the next hire for that position. This is not like a new position for the company. This is a typical thing, and they've had these people before, and nothing's ever really come of it. Now, if I all of a sudden wake up and hear that, TNA has signed an ad sales deal with like Payday candy bars or something like that, I'm like, oh, okay. But I wouldn't really get too excited. It's just like a former WWE guy, taking a similar position here. But he can sell ads for Invicta because Invicta is legitimate sports and people want to be associated with it. So you can sell ads there, and he might make some money for them. But pro wrestling is much more difficult. It's kind of seen as sleazy entertainment, and so and this week they did not shy away from being sleazy entertainment. And you could, I'll let you decide whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing about what we saw in Impact this week. But I thought Impact was good. But